Hello friends, welcome to the video series on interview question for SQL PL Sql developers. In this video, we will see few view related interview questions. In few of the previous videos, I have covered few basic view related interview questions like what is view, simple view, complex view and view in comparison with materialized view. As a continuation of that, in this video we will see what is force view with read-only constraint with check option constraint and a simple practical scenario which I have received from one of the subscriber. Let us start with the first question. What is force view in Oracle? Generally, whenever we want to create a view, we will go and create all the underlying base tables. Then we will go and create the view. Suppose if the base tables are not present and if you are trying to create a view, what will happen? That is what we are going to see. So in this case, I'm just trying to create a view called student underscore view, which is on top of a single base table called student. Suppose if the student table is not present in the database, what will happen? So in this scenario, when we are trying to create a view without creating the underlying base tables, then Oracle will not create the view and it will throw an error saying that table or view does not exist. But in few scenarios, we want to create the view because the underlying base tables may get created later. How to handle such scenarios? So to handle such scenarios, as part of the create view statement, we just need to specify the additional keyword called force. By specifying this keyword, Oracle will create the view even if the underlying base tables are not present in the database. However, the view will get created with compilation error and the status will be invalid status. You can just query the data dictionary tables like user underscore views and user underscore objects just to check whether the views are actually created or not. This is actually a very useful functionality because typically in a real-time deployment, we don't have to bother whether all the underlying objects are created or not. We just go and create the force view because the underlying objects may get created later also. So you don't have to bother about the dependent objects creation. So in that case, the force view will be very helpful. Let me just quickly show you the demo for force view. Okay, now I am executing a statement like select star from student just to want to show you that the table is not present in the database. You can see here it is throwing an error saying that table or view does not exist. Even we can confirm by querying the user objects data dictionary table for the object name equal to student. So the student table is not there in the database. Now I am trying to create a view on top of the student table. I am trying to create the view called student underscore view. As I mentioned, Oracle will throw an error saying that table or view does not exist and this view will not get created. We can even confirm this by querying the user view data dictionary, also user objects data dictionary, just to see whether the view is created or not. At this point, the view is not created. However, we can specify the keyword called force. Now I just included the keyword called force. Now I'm just recreating the view. Now you can see that now it is not throwing the error. Instead, it is giving a message like view created with compilation error. The error is due to because the underlying base table is still not created. However, the view is created. Now let us query the user view data dictionary. Now you can see that the view is created. Same way, let us query from the user objects data dictionary. You can see here the view is created, but the status of the view is invalid because the underlying table is still not there. At this point, if we try to go and call this view, obviously it will throw an error because the underlying table is not present. Fine. Now let me just create the table. So I'm just creating the table called student and I'm just populating the student with few student names. Few people are in EC department and few people are in CSE department. Fine. Now let me just query the student view. Now if you see the underlying query got executed and it is returning the result. Now if you go and check the user objects data dictionary, the status would have got valid because the first time when you are calling a view which is in an invalid status, Oracle will automatically try to recompile the view and it will execute the underlying statement and it returns the result. If there is no error with the underlying statement, then the query get executed and the results will be returned and the view status will become valid. Otherwise, it will throw the error and the view status will be still invalid. Okay, now that we have seen the force view, let us move ahead with the next question. What is with read-only constraint? Now that we have created the table called student and we have created a view called student underscore view. Obviously, this view will display all the informations of the student, and since this is a simple view, we will be able to do the DML operation. That means any DML whatever we perform on the view, which will automatically reflect on the base table. However, in few scenarios, we want to prohibit the DML operation on the view. That means we want to restrict the DML operation on the view. To restrict the DML operation on the view, or to make the view as just a read-only view, you just need to specify one additional keyword called with read-only. By specifying this keyword, we will not be able to do any DML operation on the view. In this case, the view becomes a read-only view. Okay, let me just quickly show you the demo for read-only view. Okay, I'm just creating the student view. View is created. Let us query from the view. Yes, we are able to see all the 6 students from the base table. Now I am trying to insert one more student of EEE department. Obviously, the insert will go through because this is a very simple view. The insert will go through the view and it will affect the base table. Let us just query from the base table. You will be able to see the new record, that is Priya, what we just now inserted. Fine. Now let me just query from the student view. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add the additional class called with read-only constraint. Now let me just recreate the view. The view is recreated. Now let us try to insert one more record. I'm trying to insert one more student, Rajesh of EEE department. Now if you see, it will throw an error saying that cannot perform a DML operation on a read-only view. That is because we just added the with read-only constraint class here. So now the with read-only class will prohibit all the DML operations on the view. Okay, we'll move ahead with the next question with check option constraint. So we have the student table. Now I'm creating one more view called student underscore view underscore ECE because I just want to display only the students studying in the ECE department. So that's the reason I just put a where condition like where department equal to ECE. So this view will display only the ECE department students. However, my intention is I just want to create a view only for the ECE department. That means to manipulate the records of ECE students only. That means I don't want anyone to manipulate any other departments. I just want to give a provision for the people to manipulate only the ECE department student. However, using this view, I'll be able to insert a record of some other department also. So this insert statement will use this view and it will insert the EEE department student into the underlying base table. Same way, you can go and update the existing records in this view to the CSE. But my intention is different. My intention is I want the view only for the ECE students and I want to manipulate only the ECE students only. I don't want to manipulate any other department student. However, the default behavior is that using this view, we are able to manipulate the other department students also. That means I'm able to insert any department other than the ECE department also. However, if you want to restrict a view to process the DML statement such a way that the records processed by the DML statement should satisfy the where condition of the view, then what you can do as part of the view definition, you just need to specify an additional class called with check option. By specifying the with check option constraint, we can insert a record of ECE. Same way we can manipulate the ECE student. However, we will not be able to do the previous two statements. In this case, the previous two statements are not allowed because the previous two statements are not satisfying the where conditions of the view. Okay, let me just show you the demo so that you will be able to understand much better. Okay, I'm creating the student view ECE with a where condition of where department equal to ECE. Let me just query from the view student view ECE, which is displaying only the ECE students. In this view, I am able to insert a student of EEE department. See, the insert went through. Let me just query from the base table. We will be able to see the record what we just now inserted, that is Kumar of EEE department, we inserted using a view which is supposed to display only the ECE students. Fine. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put an additional class like with check option class. Now let me just recreate the view. The view is recreated. Now let me try to insert one more student of EEE department called Naveen. Now if you see, it will throw that error saying that this record will not go through because this record will not satisfy the where condition of the updatable view. Okay, so this is the reason, or this is the learning about with check option. Okay, so let us move ahead with the next part. So just now we have seen about what is with read-only constraint and what is with check option constraint. So here is the syntax. You can specify either with read-only or you can specify either with check option. Optionally, you can specify the constraint and constraint name. If you are not specifying the constraint name, Oracle will by default create the system generated constraint name. If you want to give user specific constraint name, you can use this class. Let me just show you how to give user defined constraint name. So here is our first view called student view, which is a read-only view. Here is our second view called student view ECE, which is a with check option constraint. Okay, now the two views are created. Let us just query from the user view just to see the two views are there. Okay, now you can query from the user constraint because these two things are actually constraint. You can see here for both these view, you will see the constraint type. Here O represent it is a read-only constraint and V represent it is a check option constraint. And Oracle will create a constraint name also. Since we have not specified any constraint name, Oracle by default will create a system defined constraint name. If you want to give your own user defined constraint name, you can just specify the keyword constraint followed by a constraint name. Let's say read-only constraint. Same way I'm just going to specify here check option constraint. Make sure the names are unique, because if it is not unique, you will get an error. Let me just recreate the view now. So the first view is recreated. Let me just recreate the second view. Now let us query from the user constraints table. Now you can see here the constraint names are overwritten. Previously we had the system generated constraint with some name like sys underscore some number. Now it is replaced with user defined constraint names. Okay, so in fact you can check the details of character, that is the constraint code, in the all underscore constraints documentation. Here is the snippet of that. You can see here V represents with check option and O represents it is a read-only constraint. Okay, let us move ahead with the next scenario based question. In fact, this question I received from one of the subscriber. So the question is, we just need to create a procedure to create a view for all the tables available in the schema. For example, if you have like 100 tables in your schema, you just need to create 100 views. That is one view for each table, and the view name should be exactly same as the table name followed by underscore V. This is the expectation. Fine. Let me just quickly show you how to write a PL SQL block. Let me show you the anonymous block. Anyway, once you are able to achieve the functionality using anonymous block, you will be able to convert into a procedure. Fine. Let us see. So I have a schema here which contains like 3 tables, that is employee, T and student. So now what we are going to do, we are just going to create 3 corresponding views here. Okay, let us start writing the PL SQL block. I am just going to show you the anonymous block. Anyway, once you are able to write the anonymous block, it is very easy to convert into a procedure. Fine. Let us write here. Let me declare one variable called LVSQL of varchar2 of 2000, because I'm just going to frame the DDL statement here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create one for cursor for I in. Let me put the same statement, loop in loop. Fine. Let us frame the query here, that is the DDL statement. So what we need is, we just need a create table or create view statement. So let's say create or replace view. So the view name should be same as table name underscore V. So let's say, so this is our table name followed by underscore V, as select star from our table name. So I dot object name. Right, first let us try to print just to check whether it is printing correctly. Let us put a dbms output dot put underscore line. So let me just print. So let us put a set server output on. Yeah, right. So before that, let us check whether any other objects are present in the user object. Okay, so that after creation of the view we can just again check it back. See, right now there are only 4 objects, that is 3 tables and 1 constraint. Okay, fine. Now let me execute the anonymous block. Now you can see we just framed the DDL statement for all the view, that is create or replace view employee underscore view as select star from employee. Same way for a table T, the view name will be T underscore V. Same way for table student, the view name will be student underscore V. Fine. Now what we are going to do, we are just going to use the dynamic SQL to execute the DDL. So I am saying execute immediate the SQL. Okay, see, make sure that the object name is less than or equal to 30 character in case if you are trying in version less than or equal to version 12.2, because from 12.2 we have one more new feature, like we can create an object more than 30 character up to 128 characters also. Okay, now let me just re-execute the block. So the block is successfully executed. Now let us go and check from the user objects. Now you can see along with the 4 objects we created 3 more objects or view. So you can see the views got created, that is emp underscore v for employee table, t underscore v for t table, student underscore v for student table. Okay, so here is the anonymous block. I again want to stress this point. Make sure the length of your object name is less than or equal to 30 character if your version is less than or equal to 12.2. If it is greater than or equal to 12.2, in fact you can use the new feature, like Oracle will support creating more than 30 characters up to 128 characters also. Probably you can just look into this video to know more information about the length of the object names. If you want any questions to be answered, you can post it in the comment section or you can drop to this mail ID. But before that, you can check whether your question is already answered as part of the subscriber question or as part of the interview question. If not, please write back to me. I'll be happy to record and post as a new video. And thanks a lot for watching this video. If you have learned something new, please like this video, subscribe and stay tuned for new feature video, interview question, SQL practical question and concept videos. And thanks a lot for watching this video. Please click the bell icon if you want to receive instant notification whenever new videos are uploaded into this channel. Thank you.